This episode of SpectreSoundStudios is brought to you by Sound Addicted. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of SMG Viewers Comments. We're up to episode number 162. Holy smokes, I can't believe we've gone this far. Keep those comments and questions coming. Let's get right to it.
Why would someone get annoyed at a gear review? Guess to defend their purchases. Makes no sense to me.
Blended kittens, that could go two ways, and one way the animal rights activists are really not gonna like. Anyway, yeah, this is kind of referencing back to that whole Marlon Brando incident a few weeks back where some kid lost his mind because I dared give the Spider 5 a bad review and he said he was going to knock my teeth out. Crumbs balls, man, like, wow, that is just too much. So I looked into it and there was a wiki article on something called post-product rationalization. Now, I think what happened here was it was a case where a kid might have worked hard or he might have got something as a gift or something like that. And, you know, he's read a lot of ads and they all say, you know, the Spider's great. And he's seen some videos where they say the Spider's great. And then along comes this long-haired loudmouth who says, hey, this thing's a fucking piece of shit. So instead of, you know, listening to my argument rationally, you know, he just sees that and sees rage because I dared, you know, challenge his opinion. And nobody in his life has ever done that before because he's been used to getting participation trophies. Here's the thing, kids, we're allowed to disagree with one another and we can be civil about it too. You know, if somebody doesn't share the same opinion as you, talk. Don't yell, don't name call, don't scream, and don't threaten. Talk. Because we always wind up learning more from each other that way. I think the Spider 5's a piece of shit. You might think my opinion's full of shit. It really doesn't fucking matter. Just so happens a lot of people do share my opinion that the Spider 5 could be a lot better. Mind you, I was looking at the bare bones one. Some of the higher end models of the Spider, if you can call them higher end, might be better suited, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you insist on going with line 6, get a Helix, because they're actually really good.
Hey Glenn, I have a question for you that's been in my mind for a long time now. What do you think of musicians wanting to be there for parts of the mix process? Did you try that approach? Would you recommend it? Or do you prefer working with the usual ping-pong conversation, here's your mix, give me some feedback, etc.? Because I'm a musician and sound engineer myself, and it definitely could have saved me some time to work with the people I hired to mix some of my projects. Anyway, keep up the good works, and cheers from France.
Bonjour, mon ami. Yeah, that's the extent of my French. Actually, went to Paris with my wife there a couple years ago, and turns all that French we took in Canadian schooling actually paid off. In Quebec, not so much, but in Paris, yeah, it actually worked, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, on to your actual question there. You know, I started out, you know, with the musicians around me, and I just found we could never get anything done. And I came up with a saying, you know, my mix rate is, say, like, you know, $45 an hour. It's $95 an hour if you want to help. If there's all kinds of people in the mix room, you're going to have, you know, back and forth conversations. You're just not going to get anything done in any kind of timely fashion. What I figured I worked was, you know, I'd put together basic elements of the mix on my own, and then I'd tell the band, look, pick one or two guys to choose what's going to happen with these songs, and then we'll come in for a final mix down session. I can just bounce ideas off of two people maximum, and then get it done in a day, and that usually worked really well. And then I'd say, you know, if you want recalls, okay, you get one set free. So take it home. If you hate it, you know, ask for some changes, whatnot, great. Anything more than that, and then it's triple the rate. Seriously, because I've had situations where I offered, you know, free mix recalls, and I found myself mixing one song like 9 times before they were finally happy, and I was just like, oh, come on. And it was just like the most nitpicky bullshit ever that nobody in a million years outside of the band would ever notice. So keep that in mind as well. Don't offer free mix recalls because you will get fucked very, very hard.
Best and most useful content I've seen from you. This plugin makes me think, will I need my Axe Effect standard anymore? More metal.
Of course, you're talking about my greatest free amp sim video. And if you guys haven't checked it out, please do. I'll have a link in the description below. And we take a look at Ignite's Emissary, and we load that up with some of my custom IRs. And I show you guys how to get an awesome metal tone using a free amp sim. It's fantastic. It's what I recommend. And if you're curious about what kind of amp sim you should be using, you don't have a lot of money to spend, I definitely recommend checking it out.
Great Great video. I must say, that's pretty impressive. Love how you explain exactly what you did to get the tone in the finished track. Thanks for what you do.
Again, you're talking about the free amp sim video. Yeah, I thought I'd do a step-by-step there and show you guys it's not just one guitar sound I'm getting, it's a combination of two different types of tones blended together for a much bigger sound. I mean, back in the 80s, they used to do that, you know, mix like a Les Paul with a Telecaster or a Strat to get a bigger sound, like if you were just using a Marshall or something like that. I'm kind of doing the same thing. It's like two tracks are, you know, kind of the super scooped, you know, thrashy tone, and then two of the tracks are a much more mid-range focused, more of a modern metal tone, and when you blend the two together, holy crap, does it ever sound cool. And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, go check out the free amp sim video. I'll take you through the whole thing. Check it out. It's awesome. All right, everybody, this episode of Viewers Comments is brought to you by Sound Addicted. Now, if you guys have watched my mix review shows, you will notice that the first thing I'll ask when mixes need work is, what's your monitoring situation? Well, Sound Addicted makes speaker pads that will improve your playback by isolating your monitors from what they're sitting on. That way, any vibrations the monitor cabinets make won't be transferred onto your desk or your speaker stands or whatnot, and you'll get the sound of your mixes, not annoying buzzes. The pads can handle 36 pounds each before deforming and have a removable section so you can angle them. They're what I'm using to support my new monitors from KS Digital, and they do a fabulous job. I'll have a full rundown of them in an upcoming episode. Meanwhile, you can check them out at soundaddicted.net or on Amazon. I'll have links in the description below. Now back to the show.
Hey, pretty sure you've covered this before about what programs or applications can you turn off in Windows to make Reaper run faster. Greetings from cheery old London, Canada. Fuck you, Glenn. Stop on by London for a handshake.
Yeah, London's pretty cool. I like to drop by OER every now and then and say hello. It's an awesome school. And yeah, London's a pretty cool town. Some pretty cool people, some pretty cool bands in that town. Yeah, it's a cool spot to be. Went to see Priest there earlier this year. Lots of fun. What you want to do is pull up something called MS Config and go to Startup and turn off pretty much everything but Windows Defender. Anything in that list you can probably turn off and your system's going to work. Just make notes of what you're turning off and on, that kind of thing. But most of that stuff just sits there and just eats up memory and doesn't do anything of any good. I mean, like, you know, like especially printer stuff and that kind of crap that if you're not printing, you don't fucking need running. Windows loves to do that and just eat up fucking system resources. I should really make a video about that, how to make your PC run faster, you know, by turning off all the bullshit. I wonder, what do you guys think?
Hey Glenn, I remember hearing this on one of your recent Viewers Comments videos, but I can't remember which one it was, where the typical 5150 to a vintage 30 cab sound was recorded with an SM57. Seems to be what everyone is going for in metal these days. Whereas I do like a lot of the results that come from it, I would like to hear something new. You do a lot of gear reviews. Any recommendations on fresh ideas you may have come across? Plus, what are your thoughts on the Demon speakers and Ola's Haste 2x12? It's tempting.
Well, in case you missed it, you can check out my How to Develop Your Own Guitar Tone video, where I take you guys step by step through a whole different kind of process, and you can just get away from the whole 57 vintage 30 thing. If you're looking for a more unique sound, check out one of the Rev cabs, which are loaded up with the WGS speakers. Those are freaking cool. Another great alternative to the vintage 30 is the Celestion Greenback. Go put on Machine Head's Burn My Eyes and listen to the guitar sound on that record. Those are greenbacks. I think that's 5150 into a greenback. And yeah, that tone is just absolutely wicked. Of course, you got Colin Richardson on the board, who just makes absolutely incredible records as well. But yes, there is a huge plethora of guitar tone options available out there. And the problem with metal guitar players, we all just tend to copy one another, and nobody is you know, willing to break out of the mold, because, you know, they'll get told, oh, you suck, you suck, you suck. You tried something different. And I think that's a real shame. You know what? Fuck the haters. Try something new. And as for Ola's cab, I haven't tried it out. I haven't heard it, and I really haven't checked that demo out. Maybe I should. Anyway, thanks for the suggestion.
I would pay good money to see a full-length movie about the ultimate anti-Glenn League, featuring the dude from the Sex Kittens, the special ed teacher who laughs at mentally disabled children, the I have a degree in Piano Man, and Marlon Brando.
Well, I think you can add a couple of more names to that list. The singer from Braids certainly hates my guts, especially after the t-shirt I did where it said, it's far easier to sit around and bitch. And of course, there's a bunch of guys on our audio engineering who dedicated an entire thread to how much they hate me. Oh no, I think I'm gonna live.
I've always wondered, is Reaper good enough for studio recording, or do you have to have a more expensive DAW?
Who the fuck told you that? Of course you can do a full album on Reaper. I've been working with it for years. It's fantastic. It's super configurable. And the fact it's only like $65 or whatever, I bought it a couple of years ago. I can't remember how much I paid for the license. I know it's super affordable anyway. It's really irrelevant. It's like, what can you do with it? Download a copy, try it out, man. I just love it for the whole drag and drop capabilities. Like I said, it's super configurable. You can do folders, you can do buses, you can do all kinds of awesome stuff. Try it out. It's definitely worth taking a look at. And if somebody says, oh, well, you know, Reaper sucks because it's cheap, tell them to shut the fuck up, because they obviously have no clue what the hell they're talking about.
Glenn, I love these tutorial Wednesdays. You have a way of explaining things that don't make me feel like you're speaking a foreign language. Keep them coming.
Hey, Julia, glad you're enjoying them, and I'm really super happy that you're getting some use out of them. I am definitely going to keep the tutorials coming. I've recently started working with waves, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the different plugins and whatnot and how I apply them on various sources, that kind of thing. I think that might work pretty well. I know they're a pretty popular plugin brand, and I'm going to see if I can work those into some tutorials, and I think that should be pretty cool. Stay tuned for that.
Bummer that TJ has moved on. Hope that's temporary and we get to see a return of Walmart Wolverine. He's a fun and talented dude.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, it's like, I think he just felt he wasn't getting anywhere working behind the scenes here, and he wanted to, you know, move on and kind of do his own thing. But if you guys would like to see a return of TJ, let him know in the comments below. You guys let him know he might come back. I don't know. I can't speak for the dude. But here's to TJ. He's just an awesome guy.
Hey Glenn, so remember your video on boiled bass strings? Well, can you do the same with guitar strings or no? I'm a rhythm guitarist for an industrial metal band and I can't really afford to buy new strings for a recording. Also, what is the best tuning gauge size strings and is best for metal music?
Yes, of course you can boil your guitar strings. I started doing that way back in the 80s. My buddy Frank, he bought those Metal Method guitar lessons. Were actually really cool, and that's when we first learned about it. I was like, hey, wow, this really works. So yeah, if you're a broke teenager, it definitely will do the trick. I wouldn't recommend it before going into a recording studio. It's not like guitar strings are super expensive, unless you're from some third world country or something like that, and then, okay, that's totally understandable. Really, if you're recording guitar, you should put your best foot forward and, you know, not buy a few beers and don't buy weed, and put that money into your music, specifically guitar strings. As for your string gauge, there are a couple factors there that you kind of left out, so it's kind of hard to answer. You need to know your neck scale length and what you're tuning to. And if you're confused about all that crap, go check out my friends over at Kalium Strings. They've got a whole chart and will help you figure out exactly what gauge you need.
Okay, I'm using an Ignite emissary with an Andy Steep style impulse. Sounds pretty good to me. Are there any SMG impulses that might work better with this particular amp sim? Have you tried to demo that type of configuration?
Yes, I did that a couple weeks ago with my best free amp sim video. I was using the SMG impulses. So yeah, check that out if you haven't already.
Why did you feed the troll by devoting him an entire video? You are supposed to ignore these stupid bait comments.
Oh no, I broke the rules. No, not that. You can't break the rules. That's against the rules. The best rock and roll always broke the rules.
Hey Glenn, I got a question. Do you ever think glam/hair metal will ever be popular again? I want to form a 1980s Christian glam hair metal band. Do you think I have a shot at it? Cheers, new subscriber.
Will I ever think it'll be popular again? You know, I really can't say. More than likely not. But hey, stranger things have happened. You know, there was a glam rock revival in the 80s from what it was originally came out of the 70s. It might be some weird new form of it. There's a local Windsor band here called Love Razor that's actually really good, and they're doing straight up, you know, 80s glam rock. You know, they're basically modern Hanoi rocks. And they get all kinds of shit for it too. But you know what? Good for those guys for playing what music they like. But you want to do an 80s Christian glam metal band. I mean, do you really think the world needs another Striper?
Hi Glenn, have you ever been tracking and have your session crash because Wi-Fi is enabled on your PC? Cheers from Washington, D.C. plus fuck you Glenn 1,000 times over.
I've never had my PC crash, but I was using like this little USB wireless thing a while ago, and it was definitely causing interruptions in my audio stream. The RME Fireface here uses USB, and it was actually causing fuck-ups with it. And as soon as I pulled it out, it was great, but I was getting all kinds of weird clicks and pops and shit like that, and it took me a while to track it down and finally realize it's the fucking wireless. What you can do is you can go into your Windows device manager and just disable it for your particular session if you don't want to pull the card out. So that's something to keep in mind. It's a workaround, it's a lot of extra bullshit to deal with, and people should make better fucking drivers. The other thing I would say would be immediately update your drivers for everything, and maybe you won't run into any more crashes. But definitely disable that motherfucker if it keeps happening.
Hey Glenn, how do you feel about today's PC culture? Just this morning, somebody was bitching about how Steel Panther were sexist, and when I pointed out that they are a comedy act and in fact not real, also stating that when I saw them last year, the majority of the audience were women, because of this, I was attacked being called disgusting and victim blaming. What the fuck?
Well, first off, Steel Panther is fucking far more awesome than the people who attacked you. I've had them on the show. We did an interview a couple years ago. Those guys are simply amazing musicians and amazing performers. And if people don't get it, too fucking bad. You know what? Nothing is sacred in comedy. Period. Either none of it's okay or all of it's okay. So fuck the haters. That's all I've got to say there. Yeah, PC culture is doing its absolute best to destroy humor. You know what I say? Fuck those people. All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Hope you're going to have a fantastic weekend. You guys have a great whatever's left of your summer. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.